me what you see when you look at me. Do you see another brother lost in these streets looking for his soul?
Trying to find my soul.
Or do you see another brother searching for lost souls in these streets? A street soldier.
Street soldier.
Here to help you get that chip off your shoulder, warm your colder days and sober your drunken ways, and find a way to help you get over these hurdles placed in our path. And this is not meant to amuse you. This is for all those who have questions but are afraid to ask.
I won't be afraid. I won't be afraid. No. When times get hard, you lose your way. Open your mind and hear what I say.
This is a message for the hard and the soft. To those who tune in weekly and to those who keep an eye out for 8 p.m. on Sundays and turn their radios off. The truth hurts. The cloth has been pulled. We're walking around half dead. Use this show as your IV. Alive and free is a new movement. We've achieved self-destruction. A street soldier promotes self-improvement.
Streets couldn't be no colder, so I gotta be a soldier. It shouldn't be this hard for me. Even when it seems so hopeless, I gotta keep my focus. I'm glad to be alive and free, yeah. Streets couldn't be no colder, so I gotta be a soldier. It shouldn't be this hard for me. Even when it seems so hopeless, I gotta keep my focus. I'm glad to be alive and free, yeah.
Tonight is about love. It is. It's about love. Specifically during Black History Month, it is about Black love. We have four couples that we invited to be on the show to talk about love. Love is all about love. And so we're going to salute Black love. Go on, man. Go on. Just put us in the mood. Just put us in the mood for some love. Ann's got a little thing. Ann, you got something to play while I get the
I got a little spoken word for you real quick before as Ann gets ready. We get ready for tonight's show, y'all. See, I'm looking for another pure love like Mr. Stevie Wonder. I'm starting over like John Lennon. Girl, you make me feel brand new like the Stylistics. I knew a change was gonna come just like Sam Cooke. It's so outstanding, like the Gap Band. Skin tight, like the Ohio Players. Oh, baby, let's stay together like Al Green. Let's stay together. I want to be your lover, like Prince. Do you have the time for living and loving? I'm just passing by the fire. I truly adore your way and your beauty. Bring all your sweetest things.
Oh, Lord. Maybe we don't need a break.
Well, that was gold. That was beautiful.
All right.
Malcolm,
right.
you are just
Ready for it?
adorable.
All
right.
Ready. They come. Get my folks in and do your thing, and let's get it rolling. Happy Valentine's Day celebration of Black love.
I mean, that really just.
Oh, you don't need it now. You don't need it.
I think, yeah. I mean, we need to do it again, Malcolm. That was great. Yeah, I think that sets the mood, right? I think that's the mood.
It sets the mood because really, on a serious note, love is just the greatest gift out.
It's the easiest thing to do, and the thing that so many people run away from first. The easiest thing to do.
Y'all, y'all keep talking because I got to get the folks in.
For me,
you remind me. There's a great song by Omar, a great British neo soul singer. It's called "Little Boy." I love that song. He's really talking about a man. Don't run away and be a little boy. Don't be afraid. Love is right in front of you. Don't be afraid, and how men sometimes are just afraid to love. It's a powerful song and one of my favorites. But once you get past that afraid part.
All right, while you doing this, why don't you just say a favorite love song while I'm getting everybody in? Because Ann didn't even, you got me in a whole other thing. Favorite love song.
That.
Top 5 love songs?
Yeah, give me five love songs right now. Let's do it. Come on, while I'm getting everybody.
Because love songs are so important. Sometimes we don't know them.
Hurry up.
I just found out about the Alexander O'Neal song.
Which one?
If you were
here tonight. Oh, that's ooh.
I didn't know. And then I found it. Yes, I found it last year. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. I was late, but I got it.
This
bed's too big.
I guess this is all impromptu. This was not planned. He started singing.
I don't know that song.
Happened.
Hey, when Alex talked about this bed is too big, now the bed is too big to be alone. Okay. And Alex is big already. So if the bed is too big, you got no. Top 5. Okay. Number 5, Heaven Must Be Like This, Ohio Players.
Ohio Players. That ain't bad. Ain't bad.
Like this.
Woo.
Ain't bad. Come on.
Sweet and sour taste of love we just made.
You'll take the whole show. Baby. Your turn.
I put Adore by Prince on there. I put Ribbon in the Sky, Stevie Wonder. I mean,
ribbon in the sky for my love.
Oh, lady, tell him.
Who you got, Lady E?
Okay, all right, we'll put it on hold.
All right,
because you just now gave me an extra question to ask, I guess. I got them all here. Let's see. I think our guests tonight for the show, and I'm gonna call them in couples. Enitan and Letisha Bereola. I see Letisha, but I don't see Enitan. There they are. Enitan and Letisha Bereola. Couple number 2, Murrell and Janelle Tate-Green. There they are. There's one. Where's the other one? Oh, she flashing in and out. She doing one in.
It's that background.
That's all right. She there.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Couple number 3, Marcell and Whitney Bennett.
I like that back. Yeah. Hey there.
And couple number. He's gonna be singing the whole show. Look,
you get distracted so easy.
Couple number 4, Vidal, Vincent, and Dyneeca Adams.
All right, they got that heart behind them. I know that's right. Need to work.
Thank all of you for joining us tonight for this, and they're joining us from different places.
Doc, before you say, Doc, let me tell the couples, just so you know now, for participating tonight, we have all expense trip paid to Jamaica. 2 weeks you leave tomorrow. No, sorry about that. I'm just nope. We don't have that budget, but it's the thought that counts. Okay.
Baby, if we can make that happen.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know you was like, yes, I do need that, huh?
Why do I feel like Steve Harvey with a bunch of guests who's just gonna make dope during my let me just do this, okay? Let's do this. Hold on. Let me just get the introduction in. Okay. Oh God. All right, now I'm gonna tell everybody where they're joining us from. Enitan and Letisha joining us from where in Florida?
Jacksonville, Florida.
Jacksonville, Florida. Thank you very much. Whitney and Marcell are joining us from
New York.
The Bronx, New York, right?
Bronx, New York.
Right. Okay.
Boogie down.
And Vidal and Dyneeca are joining us from
Seattle, Washington.
Wow. Let's talk about love around the world.
Yes.
Joining us from
Coast to coast. San Francisco, California.
So there's love all over the United States.
Love from coast to coast. That's what
coast to coast. And I really want to thank you for this. It was, each of you I've either talked to you or texted you about. This is an idea, and you've heard me say before. I have 30 years on the air. This is only the second Valentine's Day show I've done. In fact, I haven't even really done too many love shows or relationship shows, period. When I have dared to do it, I always call Enitan in because I don't know the hell I'm talking about. So I bring Enitan in to do the show almost for me, right? So this time I decided to do it, Black History Month, celebration of Black love. And a lot of it had to do with the 4 of you, you 4. But the main reason, the big impetus was the show Black Love on the Oprah Winfrey Network. That is the there's a lot of scripted love shows on, and there's some reality love shows on that I pay no attention to, but I really like Black Love. I think they've had 3 or 4 seasons of it. And what attracted me to the show was that they are, couples sitting around talking about their relationship. And I just think it's so cool to hear real people, just talk about their love. Some of the people have really, and they've had celebrities and, regular folks. And some of them have surprised me. I remember saying, oh God, what's her name? Oh God, I can never think of the names when I want them. Mr. Brown. I always call him Mr. Brown. And what's their real name? Mr. Brown. And they all they're in the Tyler Perry plays, and he always plays her father, right? And they're actually married. Mm-hmm. And can somebody think of their name, lady? Can you think of their name?
Tamala Man.
Tamala Man. And
yeah. I don't know what his name is.
I know you're talking about. I can't think of the name.
Yeah. Anyway, and they're married, right? So and it was just, and I thought, great. Keith David and his wife, I remember being on and talking about their relationship. I'm bad on names tonight. Who played the father in Everybody Hates Chris? The muscles guy.
Terry Crews.
Yeah, him and his wife. And you see people then you just see people you never heard of. But I've always loved the show. I thought it was great. And I thought if anybody, was, you want an idea, some tips, watch the show. This isn't necessarily gonna be that. This is really to celebrate you and your relationships, and just celebrate the whole notion of Black love is based on that. I know a couple of people hadn't seen the show. I think Murrell and Janelle had seen the show. He went to watch it. If you did, say, "Oh, we ain't going on now." And I gotta say, the 4 of you are brave, because I asked a few more people. I asked somebody I know very, very well to come on, and he said, "Oh, you trying to start something up in here?" So I had that reaction more than not. There it is, and put Tamala Man and David Man on there. But no, this is really to celebrate your relationship, and that's what it's going to be. Let me just tell the audience. Let's start just once again, Letisha and Enitan, known them for a while. And first, Enitan, I got to say happy 40th birthday, sir. Happy 40th birthday.
Happy birthday.
I saw the video. Yeah, your wife sent me a thing. I messed up the video. I messed up the video. I was out eating one night, and I'm a big piano bar guy, right? So I filmed the music. But then I messed it up, and I put the music in the tribute to.
It was a nice 6-second break.
It's nothing but piano music, right? And then I finally did mine, and then she kept the piano music in there. Maybe she couldn't get it out, so I'm sorry for the piano. It didn't mess it up. It was like an interlude.
I didn't do it. They edit it together, so I had no control over it.
I thought it was.
It was a nice music break.
It was.
I didn't even know this.
I gotta say, saw all of your family, watched all the people that love you. I was glad I was able to just be one of those. Happy 40th. So you've gone from celebrating. I know you went on a nice somewhere and celebrated. Now you're here again. So it's been a pretty good week for you guys. I think, especially for you.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
All right. That's where we know them from. Known them for a long time. Been on the show many times. Very, very, you hear more about him. Whitney and Marcell, we met on the show when we did, and found you when we did our show on couples in COVID, people in COVID, and how they were faring in COVID. And it wasn't necessarily couples as people, but you guys came on, and man, you were. So I said, gotta get them. These folks, Murrell and Janelle, I have known since they were teenagers. They are both 2 of the 256 college graduates of Alive and Free Omega Boys Club. Janelle from Tuskegee, Murrell from Clark. They can tell you the story of how they met. So I've seen them grow, get married and have kids, but that's enough right now. That's nice. Okay, and they're doing well. And this last couple, Dyneeca and Blaze, call themselves Blaze, I just met in Seattle. I was at training up there maybe a month ago. Maybe I don't know if it's been that long.
Yeah.
And I'm doing the live and free prescription training, and there's 35 people in there, and Dyneeca's there, and she said, "Oh man, this is great," and this is great. And then she went and then brought Vidal back the next day. He came, and that's how I met them. And they were just so wonderful. I said, I'm gonna do a love show. I said, you want to be on? They said, yes. So that's why you're all here. Thank you. Celebrate your love. Let's get right into it. And we're gonna start with each of the couples, how you met. Just how you met. Just how you met, how this whole thing started. Lady, you getting ready to say something? No. I thought you was gonna...
I'm not.
Not yet. Okay.
Not yet.
So let's start with, and again, we got 2 people in Eastern time zone. So like it's 8:30 here, it's 11:30 here, and now it's 11:45 there. So I hope they can. Okay. Okay. And now, so Letisha and Enitan, we've had you on separately. I don't think we've ever had you on together. I've heard this story, but it's so cute. So if you want to give the Cliff Notes version of how the 2 of you met and how this love got started, go right ahead.
So I was at a party. I saw her in college. I had Florida A&M University. I had a hat on with this looking like Boys to Men. I didn't want to go out that night. I didn't have a haircut, so I threw a hat on. I didn't like my look, so I was uncomfortable, so I didn't approach her. The guys I was with, they were all kind of like making the same comments I was making, like, wow, I'd never seen her before. The next day, I went to an Avant concert, and I just so happened to see her, and I'd never seen her in town before then. So I was headed to the restroom. I saw her standing against the wall talking to somebody. I stopped and I just stared at her, kind of, looking back on it, it was kind of strange.
Stop right there. When she told the story, she said, he kept staring at me. He kept staring at me.
It's like when you're talking to someone and you can feel eyes on you past that person, there's someone behind them looking at you. That's what was happening. And it was audacious. It was
audacious. I knew what I was doing. Apparently I knew what I was doing, but I was just staring at her, and she stopped talking to the guy. She came to me and she said, it's rude to stare. And in my mind, I was like, I got it. So we talked the whole night, but she didn't give me her number at the end of the night. We had a great conversation outside of the club, near the restroom, but she didn't give me her number. She said, next time I see you, I'll give it to you.
Which I thought I wasn't gonna see him again. I'm joking. So I just was like, I'll give it to you next time. You know how girls, they like to stall, they don't want to be too like, here's my number.
But I respected
next time I see you, I'll give it to you.
I respected it tremendously. And I was like, oh, she's not falling for all this stuff that, girls typically fall for at that time, young women. So I respected her standards. And I saw her again. I got the contact from her, and we went out on a date to Bonefish Grill. She didn't call a date. But that's how it all started. She's like, this is not a date. I'm like, how is this not a date? I'm taking you out.
I wouldn't even give it a date. I was like, we're out getting to know each other.
This is a date.
That was it. How many? I want them to know how long ago that was. So that was 2000 and.
Oh my goodness, 2007.
Maybe 2007.
Something like that.
Is when we first started dating.
Wait a minute. No, that was like 2005.
Okay, 2005.
Or something, because we didn't really date after that, did we? No, that was 2007.
That was
like 2007.
Just pushing up a little bit, somewhere around there.
It was a long time ago.
That's our story.
So I remember when you told the story, I thought of Southside with you, Southside, but was it the whole
Michelle and Barack
and
story.
Michelle
Outside with you.
Outside with you, right? And she said, no, this isn't a date. This is a date. No, this is a date. This isn't a date. That's what they said.
I don't know. I was early 20s. I didn't know that was my way of just, because he was very popular. Girls were always around him. And I was trying to make it very clear from the beginning that I was not like, you're not getting my number. We're not on a date. Like I try to separate myself from what he had going on. I respected it. That was my strategy.
No,
my 20-year-old strategy.
I never experienced anything like that where somebody like forced me into a friendship if I wanted any type of relationship with her. So I thought that was like, that's what we fall back on today at the end of the day, right? Like when it all falls down, you go.
Hold all the secrets. Hold the secrets.
Okay.
Well, because I want to get those from everybody. But right there, and not now, but tell that. I love the story of the, I think Tish, you said when you got the card and he got the same card. That is so cool. We're going to spring that on folks later. Okay. All right. That is Enitan and Letisha, how they met, how it got started. Let me go to Murrell and Janelle. My y'all growing up. I can't take it.
Story. Well, he has the extended version of the story, but just to sum it up, I just started my freshman year at Tuskegee. I was home in San Jose at an HBCU event, and it was supposed to be like a forum, but it was a party. And so I was there with my niece and one of my friends from high school, and it was towards the end of the night where everybody was going home. And I remember seeing a guy in the middle of the hallway standing and staring a little bit at my group. And I remember he had one of his pants legs was up at his knee. You know, that was the style back, and that was what, 96?
It was 25 years ago.
96. Yes, he's good. I forget the years. And so he walks up to us, and I think at the time he told me his name was Stallion, and he gives me his number.
Whoa!
Yeah, right? He gives me his number, and I remember, and I was like, oh, okay. And I remember going to IHOP with my girls afterwards, cracking up laughing like, I'm not gonna call him. His name is Stallion. But we ended up talking. But that's the short version. Do you have anything to add?
No.
Okay.
Murrell,
Yeah.
you really told her your name was Stallion?
Yeah, you go that way.
Did you say Stallion?
Back of my jersey.
Did he really say Stallion?
1996. I'm just telling you the things that it was an NAACP party, and I never gave my number out without getting the young lady's number. So I know you gave me yours too.
I did not. I did not give you my
It's about to be Family Feud up in here. But no, that's the story.
That's how we met.
And our first date, we on the bus, because I didn't have a car. We took the bus to the movies and watched The Preacher's Wife.
Yes.
That's nice. That's a nice date.
Yeah.
That's nice. On the bus. That's cool.
On the bus.
Yeah, it was on the bus.
They put him down for not having the car, so you get all kind of props.
On the bus.
Begin to do that. And let me just say, there's a lot of similarities between the two of you and Tish and Enitan. HBCUs right there, all of you. And I know both of you have two kids, a boy and a girl. So y'all, I got a lot going. It happens to be similar. Okay, Whitney and Marcell. Let's hear it.
So we met on Tinder. This was in
You did. It actually worked for somebody. Okay, good.
Yeah, this was in 2016. It was a late night, right? For both of us swiping, I guess. We're in the same neighborhood. And you want to tell them what you sent me?
Yeah, go ahead.
So he went ahead and he sent me this message saying like, hey, have you ever gotten a parking ticket before? And I was like, this man, in my head, I'm like, this man is corny, but let me go ahead reply back. I was like, no. And he was like, because you got fine written all over you. And I was like,
I have to come off mute. All right. Now that
in my head,
good.
In my head, I'm like,
because you got fine written all over you. Okay.
So then I was like, man, this man is so corny. I was like, okay, laugh out loud. You get 10 points for that. And then he's going to say right away, so how are we going to tell people we met? And I'm like, oh man, he's serious. I was like, well, we'll tell them we met by me cutting your hair because I'm a hairstylist and makeup artist. And then he was like, okay. And then the next day he would ask me on dates. We just went on dates constantly, being in New York and being pretty busy all the time. He was very persistent and he just would in the morning, tell me good morning. He was just different. So I was like, okay, let me just keep giving him a try. And then I remember around New Year's, because it was going pretty quick. And I was like, man, I'm really liking this guy. He's really liking me. So like for New Year's Day, he was like, I'm gonna make you my girl. You my girl now. And I'm like, I'm your girl. Like, I'm not ready to
swept off her feet. She didn't know what to say. She was just
like, I'm not ready to settle down. Like, I was on Tinder to actually have fun, not to get in a serious relationship. And then I remember telling one of my clients, and they were like, listen, you have a guy in New York that's claiming you. You need to like just be his girlfriend. And so then I just started being his girlfriend.
And married, 2 kids later, here we are.
How long ago was this? Is this the year? Just give a little perspective.
26. It was
so like 6 years now. We've been together 6. Next month is our anniversary.
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah, our wedding anniversary.
Our wedding anniversary. So we've been together almost 7 years, but married
4.
No, 3.
Oh, Lord.
3. Yeah.
All right, 3.
Thank you. Okay, Dyneeca, and you want to go by Vidal or Blaze? Which one? Because you got Blaze. Which one you want?
Blaze. Most everybody knows Blaze.
All right.
Yeah, our story is completely different than all 3. 3 of y'all. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I tell it. She want me to tell it, but I'm pretty sure as I start telling it, she gonna add on. But obviously we're the newest. Our relationship is real new, but it's super deep. We just celebrated our 1-year anniversary on February 7th. Our relationship is a beautiful struggle. You give you a little bit of context. I just got recently released from prison. I was a juvenile trial as an adult at 17. I did 18 years on a 30-year sentence. And, I got resentenced to immediate release and no community custody. While I was incarcerated, about 16 months back, I was in limbo. But while I was in limbo, I do a lot of social justice work, advocacy, lay advocate, jailhouse lawyer, striving for liberation for my brothers and sisters on the inside. And in that, we connected in a grassroots organization in which a few of us on the inside, guys on the inside, we're collaborating with people on the outside, with our peers on the outside, doing this work. And so I met Dyneeca in the group, doing projects. We were doing rallies, we were doing speeches, we were engaged in the prosecutor's office. We were doing a whole lot of different like social justice work. And we started collaborating on projects. And she jokes with me all the time because I had originally got her number before and I didn't call it, right? I called her later on. Like the story's crazy on the inside, with COVID and all that, right? So there was an outbreak like at the institution that I was at. So they had us all in the gym. And so, when I first started talking to her, I was in the gym, I had caught COVID. And so they had us all in the gym. And so, I was able to use the phone all night. That was the bonus. So, I got to talking to her and, she kept answering my calls and we got to know each other. And, what was so deep about how we got to know each other is that we're from the same place. We're from the same neighborhood. It's gentrified now, but we're from the same neighborhood. We're a few years apart. We had went to the same 2 high schools when we were younger. She ran track. I had ran track like when I was in like middle school. She ran track in high school. We had a lot of similarities. We started getting to know each other. And so, ultimately, like, how we met and how we got together is, we got to know each other and got to grow. And, in the midst of my struggle, in my limbo, not necessarily knowing when exactly I was going to get out, she chose to be my lady. So it was February 7th. It's crazy. It was actually February 8th when we made it official. She didn't think I wanted to be with her on February 7th. And so we got some clarification. It's February 7th, right? And so we celebrated our 1st year anniversary out free, right? Such a blessing, grateful. Went to a good restaurant, and so yeah, that's how we met.
Wow, that's so beautiful.
Beautiful.
Look, lady, I just want to tell you, the training I was up there doing is our violence prevention training, you know, live and free. And free is the key word. A key word, obviously we want to, alive is unharmed by violence and free is free from incarceration. So, and it's a pretty deep and intense, as you know, as Dyneeca knows. And what did you say to him? Did you go straight home and tell him and say, how did you get him there the next day? Because I didn't get that story.
No, I just opened, I took him the pamphlet, you know, and he started reading it. And then he broke down before I even told him what alive and free meant. He broke down alive and free. It kept resonating with him. And he was like, do you know what this means? Like alive or dead, free or incarcerated, you know? And so we just were reading the pamphlet and he was like, he's going to come. When I asked him, like, do you want to come? You know, he was like, yeah, you know, because he does similar work before. So, yeah.
I know you guys said you're only a year into the relationship or whatever, but I just want you to know I can see the aura around y'all. Like you could just.
We work hard for this aura.
Hey,
we work hard. We work
that's
hard.
Right. It didn't say it was easy. Okay, you got to work, but I can see it in y'all, and it just feels so good. I'm so happy for both of y'all that you have each other.
Thank you so much.
And I remember watching him with you that day. I did, and watching him. The way he talked to you and treated you and then asking you about it and the way you talked about him, I said, oh, you know, this is, and I said, we're going to do the show. I said, I want to come on. The other reason is I knew you were at the, you know, early in the relationship. And I thought maybe since these folks had been at it for a while, that it might be, it's like me watching the show, right? You know, Ready to Love, you know, I'm not Ready to Love. That's a whole nother show. That's a different show. Watching Black Love, you know, and listening to other people, I thought that might be helpful because I know that both of you really care about each other, and so thank you. Wonderful story. By the way, as I'm doing this, lady, you can jump in. Of course, Mike, you can jump, and you can talk to each other. You don't have to wait for me if you got something you want to text somebody else. But I gotta add, I always ask, what attracted you to the other person? What attracted you? So let's go in reverse. Dyneeca and Blaze, what attracted you to each other? What attracted? What was it?
So he was spiritual. That was very important to me. You know, I was trying to, I don't want to say find myself, but spiritually, I was trying to find myself. And he had a lot of everything that I needed to do that. And so spiritually was the first thing, and he is selfless. So like he said, he's basically like a jailhouse lawyer. But whenever we were in our spaces, he never really spoke about him or his brother's case. He really was just trying to help others that were inside, you know, become free. So, you know, writing briefs and just showing up for him. So that was something that really made me gravitate towards him.
And Blaze, what about Dyneeca? What attracted you to her?
Oh, it's so much stuff. Look at her. She got these eyes too. I'll be liking when you wear shades, her big dark black sunshade. You know, she got these eyes on her that are just phenomenal. But just what attracted it to me and just what resonated is that, you know, like culturally, like really coming from the same place and having like the same experience. Right. And like we literally come from a neighborhood that's been gentrified. You know, it's not there no more. Like my mom still stays in low income housing, and like she's like one of the last people there. And it's like I go up to her house and it's like a ghost town and stuff. And so just, you know, her coming from the same area, like where we grew up at, and us doing the work and us being aware like what happened to our community, you know, what happened, the trauma that happened, you know, amongst our community, our families, you know, and all that stuff like that. And how she, you know, was entrenched on the work. So it's like, you know, I'm entrenched in the work on the inside. And, you know, she's entrenched on the work on the outside, the protest, the front line, and, you know, the advocacy, the speaking up, like, you know, and she talk about the selflessness, like just how much she care about the work in the movement and devoting all that time towards that social justice work and balancing, you know, personal life and all that stuff like that. So it was like, that's what gravitated me to her. And it was just, we just had a connection that was where we were just really like receptive to each other, you know, real receptive to each other. real understanding towards each other, and just really understanding each other's story. You know, it at one point before we got together, like it got to the point to where all our conversations just went deep. Like we could not, you know, just be superficial, right? With so much stuff that we was doing. And, you know, I think that's what like really like, you know, made me love her most.
Lord, I'm writing a Hallmark card just based on everything you've been saying. Marcell and Whitney, what attracted?
I guess I'll go first. What attracted me to her was her personality. First off, she was very extroverted. Like, you know, she's very talkative, outgoing, and I'm like the introvert. I'm more stay to myself. So it was like opposites attract. So I was really attracted to that. And, you know, I mean, she was cute. And you know, she had a nice figure, nice shape, nice butt, you know, and I was just like, oh, I can see this going somewhere. I can see this going somewhere. So, but yeah, it mostly though, it was the personality. It was definitely, I just felt she was just like a spark for me. So.
And you, Whitney, what attracted you?
Well, like he said, opposite attract. So he's like the total opposite of what I would date. And like we were into the same things. Like he wanted to travel, he wanted to go out to try different foods. He's Jamaican. So just adapting that culture it was different for me. Also too, the biggest one was I was very, very, very sick when I first met him. And I think on the second date, I was like, I can't date you. Like, I'm so sick. I don't know what's going on. And I feel like it's just best for us to go our separate ways because I don't know. It was really bad. And then he was like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. We're going to figure this out together. And when he said that, I was like, you're stepping up more than, and I was living with my family at the time. You're stepping up more than me living with my family right now. So and you're a whole stranger. So yeah, that right there. And I don't want to tear up because it when I was very sick, it would get really bad. And he took care of me. Like there'll be times where I couldn't bathe myself, can't brush my teeth and all that stuff. And he would take care of me. So yeah, that's what he's very caring. I have a very caring husband.
Good man right there.
Amazing. Murrell and Janelle.
So Murrell is a very caring person. So if you remember, we met in 1996. We got married in the year 2010. So that was a long time for me to get to know the core of his personality. He is very family oriented. At the time when I met him, he was just graduating from college and I was in school. I was a freshman at Tuskegee. And so we were friends for a really long time. And I got a chance to really see him involved in the community. He may tell you, and he's really great at telling this story. We have very similar backgrounds. Our mothers actually went to the same high school. And it's funny that we met at a college event all the way in San Jose. But we grew up and our families were connected in so many ways. But Murrell's very caring. He's a good friend. And whenever we would go out, I always felt protected. And for the early part of our relationship, I looked at him as like a brother. But I really felt like he had my back. I felt like I was with a friend. And so that was very important to me. I really felt like I didn't have anything to worry about when I was with him. So I felt taken care of. Yeah.
So I'll say a couple things. So first off, Stallion wasn't going to be with somebody who wasn't fine. So the first thing I was like, look,
ladies, you can see each man said the same thing. This does mean something to us.
That means something. That was first. But there is if I would have been in an arranged marriage, and I wasn't, but if I would have been in an arranged marriage, I feel like Janelle is the woman that they would have groomed for me, and I'm the man that they would have groomed for her. Our backgrounds are extremely similar. We both have blue collar fathers from the South. Our mothers were raised in San Francisco. Like she said, went to the same high school. Our families were intertwined. We both were going through Alive and Free, didn't know each other. I knew all of her friends. She knew a lot of my friends. And we were both involved in the church. We were both career driven. We're both the baby, so our arguments are crazy because we whine at each other because she's the baby and I'm the baby. But we're really two peas in a pod. And then as we talk about our personalities, we are different, but we complement each other in a way it's really a yin yang thing. So I'm the extrovert, she's the introvert, but she has the wild side. So she'll jump out of a plane. I'm not, my feet aren't moving off the ground. So it's that, and she's like, well, you're the big bad extrovert. So I mean, it's those things that complement each other that make it very down in the house. Oh yes, yeah. I'll film her, but
What'd you say? I mean, what'd you say? Hey, Stallion ain't jumping out no plane.
No.
No.
So I think it's the compliment.
I was at your wedding, and I just remember Murrell skipping down there. I mean, you came down there, boy. You came down the alley. You made an entrance. I mean, it was like, I'll never forget that. The only other person I've seen, and you would understand, is those of us who know Zachary Donald. He did a similar thing.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Everybody done to Del Murrell's coming down. You know, I mean, you was at a step show. I mean, I just thought it was wonderful. And just wonderful to see you and the happiness that you continue to have. All right, Tish time. We came all the way back around to you. I know, but go ahead. Just go ahead.
Well, I think it's interesting to hear because I'm thinking about us and I'm like, gosh, we actually came from different worlds. Like we didn't have a lot of similarities. I'm originally from Columbus, Ohio, moved to like country town, y'all know the story, country town, Florida, like the South, and stayed in Florida for college. And he's like a transplant straight from California to FAMU. So I was like this Midwest South girl, single mom. He comes from a beautiful family of, 2 sets of parents and siblings everywhere, god sisters. Like, I don't think I've met like a Black person that had God family, God mom, like all this big, it really looked for me, it was like this quintessential, Black family that was so beautiful. And he's a product of that. His mom, his dad, his step parents, even. So I say all that to say, it's just so interesting to see how you guys can trace like your similarities in your background, because ours are very different. But I would say that I think that is what attracted me to him, because after I got past the flashy, handsome, popular, talker, all that. Once I saw through that, which I'm glad he stuck around, because I was writing that off for a while. But once I got through that, I realized that he was a really, really nice guy. And his friends, his whole atmosphere was fun. It was safe. It was just like what college should be about, right? Like just fun and house parties and dancing. And it just was so much fun with him. So then we started to be friends, and we had a ball for 2 years straight, where it was just young and we were falling. And I remember telling my friends, I'm falling in love with him, because we started to have so much fun together. And then the flashiness kind of I began to understand who he was. When I heard from his friends, he's always been like this. This isn't like a show. He's from the Bay Area, and in the Bay Area, they, this is their vibe. And I just had never seen that before. So just that authenticity of this is who he is. It's not some show. I was like, oh, so that makes him even cooler. He's just being who he is. People say he was he's the same guy from, when he was a child, essentially. But anyway, we became really close. We had a lot of fun because remember our worldview of like falling in love and meeting each other was in college. So think about like your college years, your early 20s and how much fun that is. And then put in there like your future husband. So we had the blessing of like being together and those fun, HBCU, Tallahassee, like all those amazing things, our group of friends, they remember us dating back then. We just had the backdrop to really fall in love. And so I found this nice guy from a beautiful family who really just treated me so nice and lovely and made me feel loved and special. Yeah.
For her, I mean, she was unlike anything I'd ever seen. Honestly, it was like, again, she spelled it out pretty well that I dated a lot. I was single. So I just exercised my freedom in college as a single man. And I stumbled on her and I was just kind of dumbfounded and taken away because she just looked super interesting to me. And that's why I was nervous to approach her. But after getting to know her, it was really cool, again, that she maintained exactly who she is. She didn't let me sway her identity, which a lot of women did. And during that time where we spent all this time together, consecutively, this might sound bad, but just kind of how the guy that I was, I never got tired of her. And I told her that, like, I never got old or stale. I never like looked at her toothbrush in there and like, man, you got to get out of here. Like I never felt like I was getting.
Toothbrush was not at your place.
I never felt like I was getting like I was suffocating. I used to feel that way often and quickly. I didn't know why. I was like, man, am I ever gonna get married? Because I just for something will turn me off, or and I'm out of it. I kind of click out of it, but I kept like it got stronger and deeper, the connection, and we stay up and talk. Like she would say, I'm going home, we would
just, and I would never stay. Then
she never
stayed a long time.
She always said she
I
wouldn't
always
do
left.
what she
It'd be
was
like
doing.
3 a.m. I'm like, I gotta go. I'm not gonna stay at your house. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, she was trying to keep her morals intact.
Try to keep them out.
And we would literally so she would, we go from like talking on the couch to talking at the door. Like, all right, we're about to leave.
Then at my car, we'd be sitting at my car.
Then she's in the car, and I'm like at the window.
Hey, don't tell me you got back on the phone and called her when she got home.
I still get home. I'm so proud of myself.
I'm talking like 6 a.m. It was crazy, and that happened a lot.
And I come right back over the next day.
Yeah,
that was the falling in love part.
Couldn't get enough, and it was just like, it was cool because I always tell the story. It took me like a year or two just to kiss her, like right here, like one little, like she just maintained her identity, which I loved, and she didn't cave to or acquiesce to who I am. She stood in her lane, and I never seen that. And I knew that there was strength in that. I knew that I would transition well for a mom, for a wife. Like I could kind of see the future in that. Like, oh, she moves, according to her own conviction. And, a lot of folks talked about a spiritual connection. That's a similar thing too. Like, I saw that she was as deep as I was into it. And the conversations, they kind of reflected that. So it was really just a combination of all the good things. I knew pretty quickly that absolutely this is like a marriage thing, As soon as I have it together, whatever that means, as most men go through that journey on their own of having it together, right? But that's exactly what it was. It was just like this journey that you knew where it was going and didn't want it to end.
Did any of you consider or do? I'm curious about this because and funny, she's actually listening now. My youngest daughter is, he's engaged, he's married, great guy. Reggie, I love you. I know you listen. I love you, bro.
But she's not married yet. She getting
married.
married.
Well, but they gonna get married.
Okay, you said engaged and married.
Okay? They got the house and the baby's coming, so they get married. They just doing it the other way. Okay. But there are people, more and more people do couples counseling today. This was something that wasn't even in when I was coming. I was, thinking. Did any of you? I'm curious. Did any of you do that, or do you recommend that, or do you think that's advantageous? Anybody that did it, then just talk a little bit about that and I know at the time you actually counsel people on this, you do a little relationship stuff. What do you think about that? You got any views on that, couples counseling? I'm talking about before, not ever. I'm talking about before. I'm just curious.
Was it before marriage or? Because we did couples counseling.
I'm actually thinking before marriage. Yeah.
Before marriage, no, life was good.
We did couples counseling with our pastor, Pastor Jones, and so that was a mandatory piece of us getting married at the church. We had to go through couples counseling, and it was I thought it was good because he definitely used the religious aspect that we both could identify with to kind of guide us towards the difference of what marriage meant as compared to dating. Because at this point, we've known each other a long time, 14 years, but he's like, this is about to be different. And he would break that down. So yeah, I enjoyed that piece.
That seems to be something that people do now. With just looking, do you recommend that? I mean,
definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Especially when, I have had friends who would come to like their friends when things were getting rocky and ask for advice from us. And we would all recognize like, okay, this is out of our sphere of, like, that's when the girls would be like, we think it's best if you and your husband see somebody, because your group text can only take you so far, especially when things are there's a lot of tension and there's stress or something happened, right? Like your girlfriends and your guy friends aren't going to take you to a certain point. And so I've definitely recommended, because it's like, we're all in this together. Sometimes you need an unbiased sounding board who's an expert, who is studied, to weigh in, talking to people who know you and know your husband and have opinions. Sometimes it's not the best way to go.
Yeah, I recommend it for sure. We didn't do it. We read like a book or something my brother recommended, that kind of like substituted for that, because we were on this fast track and we just missed a window. But I highly recommend it. I think it's important to know as much as you can about the person you're going to be spending the rest of your life with. It's like one of the 3 most important decisions, like who will you worship, like who will you marry if you do, and will you have children? Those are like 3 huge life decisions that impact everything. So it's nothing that you should rush into. It's nothing that you should be pressured into. It's something that 2 individuals should make a decision about together collectively, and that's it. And I think that decision should be supported by an unbiased person that can allow the space for 2 people to really get out things that they may not consider. They may be blindsided by a professional, because you want to know as much as you can going in, and more importantly, I think you want to trust that person's decision-making abilities, because you change through marriage, you grow, right? And you want to be able to trust the fact that they're going to make some good decisions as they grow and as you grow together.
I know there are certain things that a lot of couples haven't talked about before marriage, right? Child rearing, which is money, and you sort of get into it, and then these things come up, and you have to handle it.
How many times your mama's coming over next week? Stuff like that.
In-law, yeah. But those are all things that when you're in love, which is you don't necessarily think about that will come up. And that's why I brought that up, because I know when folks have gone and told me, those are the things that are considered objectively right then and there beforehand, and I think, here, listen, we're teaching a financial literacy course to kids going off to college, and that's their own individual money. But then, and they say, I think what's the research that a lot of couples have issues around, or don't even stay together or break up because of just money itself. not necessarily the other things. So I just wondered how you felt about that. So it's nice to hear you, hearing that you recommend that.
Got a question.
Go ahead. You want to say something?
Can I get a question?
Yeah, go ahead. Yes.
Just observations on listening to all of you. It's really great to listen to you. Two things that jumped out, and Lady E, please jump in with me if you feel so inclined. You all of you talked about your friendship, and I've learned over time how important friendship is in a relationship. I think when we're young, we don't understand that as much. And especially here in the United States or just our culture, it's like you see someone, they're fine. Ooh, I'm in love. Like that somehow, ooh, I got these butterflies, like that. Sexual attraction is love, right? And so you kind of grow up with this very simple understanding. And then as I went on, I realized, no, I actually want my friend, my best friend, who I also have this intimacy and romantic life with too. And sounds like you all have that. Now, I was just wondering if that is something you're conscious of, you looked for, or you just fell into.
Yeah. I think, that's big, that's conscious. I like to tell my lady, I love her and I like her.
Yes.
And I like her, and she didn't really understand what I was saying at that first, but, it's important, like, when you have that friendship, it's a level of rapport that you have with each other and understanding and patience and grace, that get you through, when you're deeply entrenched, relationships can be scary. Relationships can be uncertain. Relationships tap into all your vulnerabilities and your insecurities. And, it's important that, when you're that deep with each other, you also have, that level of like friendship, that level of camaraderie, that level of, just a level of stability that's like, outside of like everything that gets so deep and unpacked, right? And so you can be comfortable around each other. You can be yourself. You can kind of, find ways to relieve pressure. So like just remembering like, date night, just remembering to, be jovial and playful with each other. And just, our big thing is just, real communication. We're real conscious of our communication, all the way down to like tone. We talk about tone. If you talk about tone, my tone, I've been inside, so I'm kind of alpha, right? I'm a little aggressive, right? And so, we talk about tone, and so, how, just how you communicate with each other and how you relate to each other and understand each other. So just being real conscious of that. And so and having that is like, that's like mandatory. That's not like extra, like that's par for the course, and so I think like their friendship, for us to still just have those conversations and just for us to have that, I think that's the foundation for you to kind of, be consistent and get back to like, why we found each other, why we locked it in.
Thank you.
Anyone else want to comment on the friendship thing? Because I heard that pretty much with everybody.
I think you have to, if you're thinking about marriage, which means your entire life forever. So think about all the things that happen your entire life that you're going to choose a partner to experience all of that with. Just that alone should convince you that it should be someone that is like your best friend first, because in that lifetime, you're going to experience children and the birth of children. So C-sections, whatever's going on there, right? You're going to experience health scares. You're going to experience the loss of a parent. You're going to experience, extreme highs and normalcy where things are just life, and when things get kind of rough, right? So what I'm talking about is just life. And if you look at it like a life partner, and then the blessing, the amazingness of it is that you're in love, right? And all that comes with that. You put that best friend and the love together, and then you guys there's nothing that you two can't do. And that's good because everything's going to come at you between now and 100 years old.
You know what, I just wanted to add, thank you for sharing that. But one of the things that popped up for me was I was finishing up grad school at Auburn University in 2002. And Murrell came and surprised me. And I was packing up, moving back to California. So he drove with me in my car back to California. We followed my parents. And when we got back to the West Coast, I mean, and there's some stuff that happened along the way, and all of it was good. We got back to the West Coast and we spent a few days in Vegas. And so I was like, if we can do this cross-country trip and we still like each other and want to hang out even more, then, you know, this friendship is definitely built on something. So yeah.
That's funny. I used to suggest it, couples, like, they take a cross-country trip together, and that's how you'll determine if you're gonna stay together or not. You're gonna second to know if it's real. And I'm like, yo, I think of it like, you know, it's if you're not friends at bare minimum, like if you're not starting there, is what are you doing, right? Because if you have to fight to get along like that, I always kind of equate like romantic things with regular things, like a platonic my homie. Right? Like, I don't have to fight with my homies that I've been friends with for 20 years to be friends. Like, I'm not like arguing like every day just to be there, just to have the baseline friendship with them. It's easy. Those are my homies. Like, it's simple, right? Like, a fight can be resolved. Like, those are my friends. I should be able to apply the same thing to my wife. You know what I'm saying?
I zoomed in because it's so important. And just to hear that again, to say that again, for people to really to grasp that. You all understand that. But those who are listening may not understand that. You should not have to fight to get along. That's an indicator.
Yeah.
And sometimes we have, and I'm going to be very candid, and whenever I get ready to warn you, I'm getting ready, but it's not for you. This is for the listeners. Sometimes there has been a lot of time spent in different situations and circumstances. And because now we feel like we've come this far, we've got to keep going, but we're fighting all the time. And you've got to have the courage and strength to say, we should not have to fight all the time. Just because you've crossed that line, whatever that line may be, just because you spent that time in whatever place that may be, if it's fighting all the time, it's not healthy. It's not good for you, for them, for children, for tomorrow. It's just not a good thing. So that's so powerful and significant for anybody that's listening. You should never have to fight all the time. Thank you for saying that. I'm going to back out. You guys are wonderful.
I was going to say one last thing that you made a good point on, because it like time served. A lot of times people stay in like these stale relationships that are expired, and it's literally just is like, you know, somebody who hoards something. It's just because they've had it for so long and they just stay in it and it's done. But it's like this mismanaged loyalty. And as men, we have this thing about loyalty. They will, you know, we expect it, we'll stay in it, no matter like ride or die, all that. But that's an unhealthy mantra. Sometimes loyalty is like leaving. You gotta be loyal to yourself. I would say a lot of ride or die people end up dead.
But they do. It's ride or die, right? The other half of the equation is not alive and free. Blaze, I gotta say, I really like your statement about not only did you love her, but you like her. And I know a lot of people that love the person, but they don't like him at all. and liking somebody, to me, will take you through a whole lot of stuff. It'll take you because you really like the person, and you can work through it if you really like them. But it surprised me. Well, I heard people, I love them, I can't stand them. I don't like them at all. And I've seen a lot of relationships like that. And it doesn't make sense. So wonderful to hear you say that you like her as much as you love her. How much do kids change the equation? So I'm doing this for them because they ain't there yet. So
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
Kids.
I gotta put this on mute now. I don't want y'all to see my face.
Get ready.
Kids had a
now Blaze and you got to listen because you got 3 who gonna tell you.
Get ready.
Kids at another level that's so like when everything was good before we didn't have arguments or fights or nothing like that before the kids. You know, it was just like, oh man, she is awesome. This is great. I love this. And we had our first kid, my son Bryce, in 2019. And it wasn't too bad. You know, they said the first kid is normally good because it's a slight adjustment, but you know, you learn to work around it, whatever issues pop up. The second kid is where things will really get rocky for you. And my daughter came along in 2021, last year. And it's just, you don't have enough time. Time becomes your biggest issue because you're running to doctor visits. And then it's like, okay, I took care of her, but now he's here and he's going crazy. And then you're like, all right, if I take care of him, but then now mommy comes in and now I got to take care of mommy because I'm like, all right, you need some downtime because she's stressed out from having to deal with both of them. And it creates a lot of friction. And it's funny because, you know, like someone said, that's when the baseline of the relationship is your friendship. So when the love starts to crumble a little and everybody starts getting stressed, that's where, you know, you fall back on and go, oh, listen, you know, before they came out and started stressing us, we got to remember about us because this is the foundation right here. Mm-hmm. But they're a blessing, but oh man, it takes a lot of work. A lot of patience. I've learned a whole new level of patience I never knew I had. I thought I had a lot of patience. Oh, they push me every day, especially with the boy. He pushes me so much, but I love it.
How old are they?
The boys 2.
They're like 15 months apart. So we have Irish twins. So that's another thing. Like they're very close in age. It's not easy. This is when we got our couples counseling because we were, instead of coming like this, we're going more like this. And then of course, you know, understanding I've been pregnant 2 years back to back. You know, my body never has healed. My mental, you think your mental has healed, but I don't think your mental has healed. You're still trying to get the groove, especially when you had freedom, you could do whatever you want. You were able to travel. And then my father-in-law lives with us, but we don't also have a lot of help. So when you don't have help, you're not getting sleep and you have Irish twins, you're going to butt heads. So like the Florida couple, you know, you have to bring someone else counseling in to help figure out, well, why did you guys fall in love? You know, where did the love start? And what the kids shouldn't bring you apart, you know, it should bring you closer. So we did couples therapy for a while. We moved pretty quick and then we decided like, oh, we don't need it anymore because we're able to actually talk and utilize the tools that we use because we love each other. We like each other. We want to make this work, you know? But yeah, it is not easy. It is not easy. It's not easy, but I don't think it's supposed to be easy either. You know, it teaches you, it teaches you a lot. And then it also is teaching your kids because now your kids are learning like how to interact, how a man or a woman should treat you, you know? So we always make sure we kiss and we hug in front of them. We make sure we love and kiss on them so they understand like you need love. You need love and love is a good thing.
Murrell and Janelle, you got any comments on that? You got a couple little ones that are going fast.
Well, I'll say this first. When I was growing up, I used to tease my mom and I would say to her, you know, Daddy loves me more than he loves you. And she would tell me very quickly, check this out. Your daddy chose me. He didn't choose you. You just did, right? And so I incorporate that in my mindset. And I, because our son is 8, our daughter is 5. And we give, both of us instantly give our children attention. And a lot of times we're so focused on them, we don't focus on each other, right? I think the best example that I have of that is when our son was about 3, we took him to a pumpkin patch. Now we have these pictures. She's taking a picture of him walking towards her with the pumpkin. I'm in the back taking a picture of him walking towards her with the pumpkin. So in her picture, it's me in the background taking the picture. In my picture, we're like, this is too much. This is too much attention for this boy. I mean, at the same time, and that was kind of we were like, okay, we're doing a lot. But I think the nucleus of family is so strong. And as I think it was Blaze talked about the gentrification, it's the same in San Francisco. And I'm just gonna say this, as a Black couple, we're very scarce in the city. We walk around and it's like it's just us. And that's how we feel. And so the kids are a blessing. They're a handful, but they're it's a joy to see. I was looking at my wife and my daughter were talking earlier today, and they look alike. And I was just like, man, that's cool. Like she was looking down and she was looking up, and to see my wife again in my daughter. And my son is a spitting image of her. Actually, I didn't get much out the deal at all. So, every time I see them, I see her. So it's a lot. Don't get me wrong. As soon as you said kids, we started shaking our heads, and our daughter's already running here while we've been talking. But it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
Enitan, you have 2 also. You and Tish.
Yeah, we have a baby boy. Well, not baby boy.
Not anymore.
Yeah,
he's 6.
She treats him like a baby boy.
My baby.
6-year-old Miles and almost 2-year-old Ava. She'll be 2 on the 25th. So my dad always said, like, when we were young, he's like, it's my wife, it's God, it's my wife, and it's y'all, the kids. It just sounded crazy to me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm the baby. I grew up the baby before my little sister came in the 90s, and I thought that sounded just backward. I thought it was like the kids, God and the wife or so. I just thought we should be, first. But the beautiful thing is we never felt like we were third. We never felt the distinction, right? Like, it was just that was his hierarchy, and he always emphasized that, and I understand that, and I follow that same model, because like if it's rearranged in any way, then everything is messed up. Mm-hmm. The focus on your wife before God, or your kids before God, or your kids before your wife, right? And I think like one of the things I'm hearing that a lot of couples are saying here is the kids that you're committed to them. There's no out, right? Like, it's not like a relationship. You're dating somebody, you could just be like, I'm out. Like, nah, you got to deal with the mirror that's in front of you. And I think that the way that I try to look at my marriage and try to look at my kids is like, our kids that's my mirror. They reflect everything that I'm doing right or wrong, or they guide me in life and in the relationship. And like, if Miles is acting like a 6-year-old and I'm tripping, or Ava's acting like a 1-year-old and I'm like getting upset or irritated, she's doing exactly what a 1-year-old should do. What am I doing though? As a grown man, how am I responding to this 1-year-old acting like a 1-year-old? So I look at it like, if you let those relationships that are closest to you, your kids, your spouse, do what it's supposed to do in your life, it won't be as like confrontational. You'll see it as an opportunity to grow, to develop, because your relationships should do that, right? Like, the relationships around you should grow you up, right? They should allow you to meet your purpose and elevate you. And if they're doing the opposite, that's, you got to kind of switch your circle up. So I think it's, I use my kids in a way where it's like, these are my mirrors that reflect who I really am in this moment right now.
And I would say, I'll speak for the moms, and I think Whitney kind of touched on it. She talked about her body. She talked about, the all of the strain that happens to a woman, especially that dad can't relate to, really understand. And that's life-changing for a woman. I mean, that is life-changing. Just the fact that like I had 2 C-sections, and I know like almost every Black woman at this point has, I feel like that's another story. But I like just that alone, the fact that I had 2 major surgeries on my body that I wasn't quite prepared for, or knew what was happening, right? And that's how both my children came into the world. Like that alone, that isolated event alone changes you as a person, as a woman. And then the hormones, and then the changes that happen to you physically, and then nurturing the baby. And so when you put all of that into a marriage, I mean, those are some like uncontrollable things that you don't even know when it's going to end, right? I'm going to have a 2-year-old in a couple weeks, and it's like, she's not a baby, but I don't know. I think moms just inherently experience mother or parenthood differently. Mm-hmm. And that just is gonna impact the marriage. And I'm no expert on exactly how. I just know that it's something different that we're going through in those early years, especially. And I'll say, I like to think of it as seasons. Like there'll be seasons in your kid's life, right? And I think you guys, Janelle, you guys probably have the oldest with 8-year-old in the mix. But what I have seen with our 6-year-old is, okay, there's seasons. Like this season with him it's not as crazy when he was 2, 3, 4, right? Ava is about to be 2. She's a wild on the counter with her legs flinging in the air and standing on chairs and whiny for an hour every morning, right? So it's like, I have to think though, like there are seasons. It's not always going to be well-behaved, perfect ebb and flow, marriage, kids. There's going to be a season when y'all are stressed because you have a 2-year-old. Yes. Or you're stressed because you have Irish twins, and this season that you're in is going to be wild. And it's, you know what I mean? Like ain't nothing you can do about it. It's a season. So I try to give us some grace. And sometimes I'll tell myself like, this is just a season. Like we're extra tired right now and one's doing this and the other's doing that, but there'll be a time where the season's going to be more fun and we'll be more rested and we can take care of ourselves more. But that's how I kind of allow myself some grace, because there are some seasons that are harder than others when it comes to parenthood, which is going to impact your marriage.
And the last thing I'll really quickly say is that it's super important, even in all of this, to still like nurture your relationship. My uncle told me one good thing where it's like, you know, you sit at the dinner table at a certain point and you just like, yo, did the kids get their soccer practice or did they get their test, you know? And then after that kids conversation, you have nothing to talk about with your spouse. You're just sitting there looking at each other. Those kids turn 18 one day and they get out the house, and then what's left with y'all. So it's important, like as much as you can to nurture the friendship, you know, get away, you know, get a sitter and just get away. And, you know, even if it's in the same city and go on a date, go get some coffee and then just like do the little basic things that connect you to, so that you don't look at the dinner table and have a conversation about the kids and that's all y'all got to say to each other.
It's funny, you talk about the seasons. 6, 8, wait till the 12, the 13s, the 15s, the 17s.
I thought we made it somewhere.
Wait. I thought it was supposed to get better the older they get.
The hormone
gets worse.
Let me say, you know, as I look at our son Corey, who's 8, he'll be 9 in March 31st. He is, you know, he's still very active, but I see him thinking a lot and observing a lot. So he was very outwardly expressive, jumping all over the place as a child, but I see him moving into a place where he's thinking and developing his own mind and his own opinions. And I'm like, as a mother, I'm like, okay, how can I stay in your head so that I'm one step ahead of you and I know what's going on? Because I know we are moving into a different season, and it's about to be, you know, there's going to be a lot of stuff that I can't see, but that's going on within him that I need to figure out, or we need to figure out, like how we can stay on top of that, you know? So yes.
Not that I'm an expert, although Malcolm did, you okay, and Sydney's okay. I think the only thing I can give you is, and this has just helped me even with you, Murrell, and all the young people I've worked with at the club. I just remembered what it was like for me. And I think the only thing you can do is just drives to remember what was I thinking? How was I when I was 13? How was I when I was 15? How was I when I was 18? How when I was 12? The young ladies, obviously, just because of hormonal thing, going to hit their season, right? And boys going to get his season, and that's the only. And then, it's something. It's something. But it's joy. I will just say this: it's joy. The whole thing is joy. And I would just say, if you keep the basic principles, and I have no doubt that you will, that you have all done so far. I think you've done a wonderful job. Not that hearing it from me, of figuring out what works. What Coach Wilberjiga said, what works, works. And I think it will work all the way through because you're cognizant of it. But yeah, I used to hear these stories from people who talk about, and they were talking about their kids, not talking about a relationship. Well, my kid's gonna be this, my kid's gonna be that. I said, oh, he's 5. Well, if 5, everything's fine at 5. Where does he want to borrow your car?
Oh my God.
That little cute thing is now like looking at you. I remember, it's funny because I was just one. I got smart with my mother, and it's funny. You've all said the same story I got from my father. And by the way, I'm the oldest of 9, all raised by Joseph and Odessa Marshall, from a 2-bedroom house to a 3-bedroom house, which ain't much bigger, right? And I remember one time I got smart with my mother, and I must have been, boys got this thing about, I'm gonna be a man. We get to that age, right? And then my mama can't tell me nothing, And I got smart with my mother, and my father, it was a good thing he was there because he wasn't having it at all. And it's funny because if they had, I guess it's a good thing they didn't have, child abuse laws back then. It was that type of dad, right? He was like, boom. And but he said to me, looked at me, he said, you see her, she ain't going nowhere. I had her before you. You can leave. She ain't going nowhere. And it's funny, he was like, the order is set. And after that, I was like, I'm cool, Dad. You ain't got to tell me that. He just told me, this is the most important person in the house. Y'all is cool. All 9 of y'all, we love y'all. I love you. But that is the most important person in the house. In fact, if she go, all y'all going, because I ain't staying with her. I loved it. This has been wonderful. It was going by so fast. Do you, before I come back and ask, I want to ask one last question, and Mrs. Stell got a couple things. Do you want to say anything to each other? You want to ask each other anything? And let me just say, we haven't talked about your accomplishments. And in a way, it doesn't matter because the relationship isn't based on accomplishments. You are all, just have done so much in your own personal lives. Do you want to say anything to each other? Anything you want to ask each other or make any comments to each other? I'll do that, please, or encourage each other or anything. I guess
I will, I just want to say, like, Black love matters, right? We talk Black lives matter. Black lives matter when Black love matters. Just having these conversations, these real conversations about, these relationships and nurturing them in healthy, positive, sustainable relationships and conscious relationships culturally, right? I think, stuff is just, it's transformative, the stuff that we heard tonight spoke to us for tonight that we needed to hear. So I appreciate that.
I always want to say that Denise and Blaze, it's cool seeing like a younger love, like a newer love, like when the camera first turned on, y'all was like, you know what I mean? but it's I love it because it brought me back to like, it's, that year one, and it's just, I remember, man, before kids and everything, and it was like what I'm looking at right now, and it can continue to grow. And you guys have a clear foundation. I could see this longevity there. It's forever there. But it's just good to just see that, like that new glow, that fresh glow, man. It's a beautiful glow. I see it all over her. Like Malcolm mentioned, it's just refreshing to see, because residue gets all up on you as you continue to traverse. But and Dr. Marshall said it's good that you like the person. You fall out of like sometimes. The love is there, you might fall out of like, and that again, like for me, that's that mirror thing. It's more about you and less about her. And if I ever fall out of like, it's like I fell alike with myself. It ain't got nothing to do with her. She's just reflecting me. But you can always get back to, you can always get back to that foundation. I'm just happy to see this, look across the screen and see all this Black love. It's beautiful.
And Enitan, what's just as impressive when you see it in somebody who's been married 65 years.
Yeah.
And you see it and you be like, oh, they so cute. And they be like, mama, they doing the mom and pop thing, but it's the same stuff.
Yeah. It's sustainable. It's proof that it's sustainable, that it's long lasting, that it's not missed. There's power in it. She's looking at me. I know her looks, all her looks. She's like, shut up.
I have one question for anyone. I guess through challenges, whenever we have them, what is the one thing that we should do, during those challenges?
Always talk, communicate as much as possible. It's the lack of communication that normally makes things 10 times worse. And that festers a lot of thoughts in your head and stuff. So communication is key. For me, I was never the big communicator. Like I said, I'm the introvert in our relationship. Whitney is the person that talks the most, but I've come to realize lack of communication causes so much issues that could just easily be solved by simply either picking up the phone if you're not around each other, or, at the end of the day, just kind of debriefing each other and saying, hey, this was how my day was, and, this is what we accomplished. It helps a lot. So her big thing is communication, and I'm starting to get into the habit of that too as well.
And you might, like, I already knew he didn't communicate, right? As we were doing our couples therapy, it kind of goes back on how you're raised, right? So you kind of go think about, in my household, we talked it out. His household, they just keep it in. So that's why I have to remember it's new for him. So I would just keep going. Come on, keep hitting him. Like, you need to respond. Why don't you respond? But he's not that type of person. So I now sit back. Do you need an hour? Can we come back to this? Well, we definitely now can come back to it before we go to bed, or like within 20, 30 minutes. This is taking time. He used to be mad at me for days, and I'll be like, why? Let's talk about it. And I'll just keep. And there'll be times that you're going to have to just keep pushing and say, like, kind of get it out of the other person. But eventually you guys mold and learn to be together. Also too, like for us, I just found out in the couples therapy thing that my husband, even though he gets up in the morning, he's not a morning person. And I've been knowing him for almost 7 years. And I'm just now finding this out 6 months ago. So I would always say, come on, you have to do this. We have to do this. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, why isn't he listening to me? Why isn't he doing what I'm asking him to do? Because he's up, but he's not a morning person. So
the brain hasn't started functioning.
Yeah. So now we say good morning, but I kind of like sit back and I wait for him to come to me and say like this and this. Or after we drop off one kid at 8, okay, what do you have to do today? Like, how's your day looking? All right. Have a good, productive day. Love you.
Yeah, it's all part of the communication again. Just keeping everybody informed. It works.
And then understand and know and realize that communication is not just talking. is being able to listen, to be able to hear, and then find the ways to express what you're thinking and what you're feeling so the other person can hear it and conceptualize it. So, I'm talking and you're not hearing me, but what does it take for you to hear me? I may need to, and it's okay to be fun while you're communicating and looking for those opportunities to get that information there. Send him a card. When he gets in the car, there's a note by the steering wheel. There is that little something, he goes, what time he's going to the bathroom? And he goes in that shower. You got that. Hey, baby, so what you gonna do today? How's it gonna be? Because don't take the fun and the joy out of talking to each other and finding out what's going on. Because, if he's not a talker, then, and you need this information, then you find that way to get that information to him where he's going to want to give it to you. When he pulls the covers back, there's a note. Wake me up and tell me what we going to do in the morning. You know what I'm saying? And it's okay. And look how you're laughing. Always don't miss an opportunity to bring joy into what you're doing. Nobody can shove anything down our throats. So just know that communication is not just talking. It is listening. It is what your body is doing, how you're looking, are you smiling, it's all of that. And so we talk to each other in all the ways that we can talk and listen and hear. Sometimes all you got to do, and women, you know just how to reach out and touch him where he's gonna, how to do that, but you won't, because this may not be I'm not ready for that right now. I'm not gonna, it's okay. Because that it's important at the start of the day, you're together. At the end of the day, you're gonna be together. Find those ways to bring the joy in, and never forget that we are here together for a reason. So, let's just, and then don't wait. Now it's your turn. No, it's your turn. Okay. So we both are going to do it. Let's, don't get into that. Never get into the competition. I'm waiting on you.
That's important. The competition.
Don't wait.
Yeah.
Don't wait.
You're right.
Even if you send a note, this is a note to remind you that I'm waiting on you to say something to me. What you gonna say? But yeah, bring the joy in.
You have all been wonderful. This is way more than look, I'm sending this in and tell Oprah that our show was better than hers. Okay. This is just amazing. Lady E, you have sent them all something that I think is now time.
Well, and before you do, you guys have your boxes? Where's the box? Hold up the box. I just want to see the box.
Our box did not arrive.
We don't have a box.
What?
Yeah, I was saying.
It's probably going to be here tomorrow, maybe. I don't know.
How did that happen? That just makes
have it. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm sorry too.
Yeah.
Okay, because it went out. When did it go out? I think Ms. Patterson sent it out Monday or Tuesday.
She sent them all the same day.
Sent them all the same day.
The mail is, people are sending cards. They get it sometimes a week, 10 days later.
Okay. Well, you're gonna see what's in. You're gonna see what's coming.
Okay.
I want you all to know something. Love is the easiest thing to do, and it's that thing that we run away from. That's the gift that God gave to you. Somebody said, and I think it was Bennett, Whitney. He said she had that spark. I want you to know that spark is the way it is described in spiritual terms, that we are the sparks that came from God. Within us is that spark of the divine that is God. And so for you to been able to see that spark in one another is recognizing that God has made that connection. You saw that. The light comes on and we can see that one in your life who's meant to be that one in your life. You treasure that. Ego doesn't have place. Ego doesn't have a place. I'm the man. Well, we not. When it comes to the two of you becoming as one and what that means. Sometimes he's up and you're looking up. And then there are those times that you lift her up and you're looking up. But just know that that is the way God intends for it to be, that love. That love that doesn't, there is no hierarchy. There is no competition. That is that holding, that giving, that sharing, that unabashed, not ego-driven, it's your turn. No, you show up and you be there. Just like you do when that baby is crying, who jumps up and runs? It should be both of you. Unless you say, baby, you say, I got it this time. That's how you move to each other. When you described how he took care of you and he took care of you and he did things for you that you couldn't do for yourself, baby, that's love. You don't worry about it. You're not scared. You had C-sections and now that body doesn't look like it used to. And I know I'm a woman and you think, man, but he honors those scars and all those little things in the body that's changed. He honors that and treasures that because that's a part of your journey. Do you understand what I'm saying? Those are just that everything that you go through is a part of that love, that spark that comes from the divine, that comes from God. Now, get something and open your box. And you see, and I love how Letisha just moved in. And
I'm trying to see what's in the box.
And she experiences.
Yeah.
Because love, for me, I'm all about the love. And when there is love, you know, there are things that you'll do. You can change the diaper, whether it's the baby's or your man's or your whatever it is, I'll be there. I got you. Who's opening the box? Okay, I see.
Open the box.
You got it?
Yeah, she did.
All right, let's see. Hold it up. I'm gonna hold it up.
Hold it up.
Hold it up first, because I didn't tape it down.
Hold it up.
Yes. Okay, so just that little something
beautiful
that we wanted to share with you, because we celebrate the love that you have with each other. My prayer is that love is nourished. It is nurtured. It is strengthened and empowered. It is encouraged and reminded that that's the gift that you've been given. You hold on to that and you not let anything or anyone come between it and separate it. Every now and then you may have to tell your children, hold on. You see that woman? That's my wife. You don't get to be rude to her. You may look at your child and say, hold on, you see that man? That's my husband. You don't get to be rude to him because we have each other. And then we, as a unit, will hold you and protect you and guide you and show you and live in the way so that you know how to live. I'm sorry, I get, all right. Now, lift the lid. Be careful how you lift that lid. First thing you see should be what? Hold it up so we can see it. No, get that piece of paper. There we go. And what does that say?
Street soldiers
wishes you joy, love, and laughter on this Valentine's Day.
Street soldiers wishes you love, joy, and laughter. Not just this Valentine's Day, but every day, even when it gets hard, even when you worry, even when you look at him and you say, really? And you look at her, you're like, Jesus, help me. Yes, and he will. Remember, you saw that spark because he opened your eyes and let you see the one that you were meant to be with. All right, now you take the tissue paper out and let's see what you got in your box.
I'll grab this.
Yeah.
The candle.
All right, and then that's something that's
chocolate.
Thank you.
Thank you. Beautiful.
Oh, look at that.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Happy Valentine's Day, guys.
Happy Valentine's
Day. Love everybody.
A lot of love to you.
Well, we have one more for you. I'm going to take you out on this. And just thank you. This has been magnificent. And hit it.
Woo!
Funny Valentine, sweet comic Valentine, you make me smile with my heart. Your lips are laughable. Less than Greek is your smile a little weak when you open up to speak. Are you smart? Don't change a hair for me. Not if you care for me. Stay, Valentine. Stay. Each day is Valentine's Day. Is your figure less than Greek? Is your smile a little weak when you open up to speak?
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, that was amazing.
That's so beautiful.
I had no idea after all this time. Oh my God. That was beautiful. Your voice is incredible. I didn't know you played piano. I'm like bugging out. I had no idea. That was incredible.
Dr. Marcell on piano. Malcolm produced. And yes, that's me singing.
That was beautiful. Yeah, round of applause. That was beautiful.
Happy Valentine's Day to all of you. Thank you so much. This has been, I don't even know what to say. Amazing. I know it's past 1 o'clock in New York, and Florida. And just thank you. Thank you so much. Love all of you. With you forever. You know that. We know that. We're not all related with our family. Glad my Seattle family, my Florida family, my New York family, and of course my San Francisco. And it does seem like we the last big Black people in San Francisco.
Yeah, I love them. Last one in Seattle. We the last one.
So we'll see you soon. Anytime, just keep up your wonderful, absolute work. Anytime, look him up, you guys. He's a star. He's just amazing. You gotta look him up. He's blazing. I don't even want to go. They both got businesses. They like in the, you see them couples, in the 40s and, top whatever. My podiatrist and my Dr. Murrell Green, and, just keep doing your thing, raising your families, Whitney. And, well, we love you, all of you. Just thank you so much for the night. Okay. So let's say good night and happy Valentine.
And blessings to
Good night, guys.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Enjoy.
Enjoy.